And when you're talking to your colleagues, Congressman Larson, and urging them to join as co-sponsors and trying to convey to them the point of the bill, are those the selling points as well? Are there differences
They are, and
you share?
I think Dick laid it out extraordinarily well. And what the members get and understand is that they recognize the hypocrisy that we're involved in. They understand how corrosive a process this is. And they understand also that they can't stop what they're doing. You can't unilaterally disarm when you're in a nuclear arms race with an opponent that, as I indicated, just after the last vote, went nuclear on you. Where do you go for that money? That creates a lot of the skepticism from our members. Oh my God, I've got to go out and raise. How do I answer the several hundred ads that are being levied against me? How do I possibly combat that? And we believe that the answer is to a grassroots involvement. And again, Obama demonstrated that it could be done at that kind of a level. And I think once there is a bill in place that allows it, and we've seen great success in the states of Maine, my own state of Connecticut, and Arizona, it frees up the member to be bolder and more aggressive on issues that confront them, not feeling that they're beholden to anyone, and more in contact with their constituents. And that especially works well in the House of Representatives, where we're up every 2 years. And our districts, of course, are just in excess of 600,000 people. So this makes it a very doable process, and also one that will allow our members the time that they desire, focusing on the issues and focusing on serving their constituents instead of spending the time dialing for dollars.
You mentioned that the debate may occur in the House, in particular, sort of against the backdrop of the Supreme Court's decision in Citizens United versus the FEC. How do you think the court decision will affect the debate in Congress? How do you think the court decision ultimately will impact the support there is for the legislation?
Well, Winnie, we don't know what the court decision will be, but however, we're very suspicious, given the makeup of the court, that this could dramatically alter the way campaigns are run, and especially if major corporations and unions are able to give unlimited amounts of money to campaigns. It will defeat the purpose. And yet we have in front of us an opportunity that brings this back to basics. And even though it's voluntary and someone else could choose to go the traditional route, and if the Supreme Court in fact does what we suspect it may, there would be unbounded amounts of money that could come into a system. But what a difference it would make if the public knew that individuals had a choice, and what choice they took in order to preserve this democracy of ours. And at the core of this, that's what's at stake here, is our own democracy. And all of you in this audience are here because you care about this issue. And I dare say, I think it was Bismarck who said it, two things you don't want to observe: sausage being made and a bill becoming law. Well, when you add that, a whole system of money and influence that happens and bears down upon members during critical votes, it's worse than watching sausage being made. And that's why we're out to change it, and I think the prospects are good.
given sort of the legislative move and the potential decision by the courts, do you see, Senator, other efforts by Congress for further disclosure around campaign finance issues? Is this the beginning? Is this the end? Is this a signal that that Congress could send to others that we're going to clean this up?
Let me be candid about this, all right? It takes a major scandal to create a major reform. I don't know that we've reached the level in the Senate or in the nation where people are going to demand this of us, or that senators are going to demand it. But if they think that the Supreme Court has tipped the scales so dramatically that they don't have a fighting chance anymore, they may be open to this. Maybe it's a new, paradigm here. They may be open to it. And I think that a lot of senators are taking a look at their states. My friend, Senator Barbara Boxer, imagine raising the money to run in the state of California, what that is like. She doesn't have the money personally. She and Stu don't have that kind of money. And they're up against someone who might be able to self-fund. She's going after, her job of raising money. But imagine raising $20, $30, $40 million or more, which is what she faces in the next 12 months. And then to know that the Supreme Court has just decided that the corporations, whoever it might be, or whatever group, can weigh in unlimited amounts in the campaign. Well, I think there would be a new interest and appetite from any member of the Senate facing that possibility.
I'm going to ask Congressman Larson one question, and I think you're going to need to leave. Tell me a little bit about the opposition that's mounting to the legislation. Sort of, are the forces geared up? Is this going to be one of those clashes of the titans that we see in Congress?
Well, no, let me piggyback on something that Dick said. I think the forces don't believe that it'll happen. I think the forces are convinced that money will prevail. I think the forces are convinced that the status quo will remain because once addicted to a system like this, there's no opportunity to change. I think that that's an advantage to us. And I'm also pleased that we have a bipartisan effort. And while Walter Jones and Tom Platts and others, don't represent a lot of Republicans, they are feeling the same way. They have to feel the same way that we do with respect to this process. So we've kind of had an opportunity here to sneak up, if you will, on the process. And I feel rather confident that the opposition will, as it always does, flare up, and it'll flare up around concerns, quite frankly, about, well, Dick and I are both leaders, and we raise money more often than not to give to candidates that are struggling to raise money. That's part of the process. Institutionally, the DCCC raises money to give to candidates. Good news is this doesn't impact that. And so we're able to ally the concerns of our own membership and then point to a direction and a path that they can take where we have a stellar example. Chellie Pingree talks about her daughter Hannah, who is now the Speaker of the House. But Chellie gives the example of there she was every moment up in Maine on the phone asking people for money. By contrast, her daughter was going door to door and talking about her message and where Maine needed to go and what they needed to do with respect to health care and where they should be on jobs. Chellie was spending her time raising money. Her daughter was spending her time talking to the public. Her daughter became Speaker of the House in Maine. And now uses as a recruiting tool to get people to run the whole notion of becoming involved in a clean campaign, in small donors, in being able to reach out and connect with people. It has enormous appeal. And I'm happy that we've been able to kind of sneak up, if you will, and also the energy that we have in the House. It's far more difficult in the Senate. There's no question about that on so many different levels. But we feel that if we can provide the momentum and we can create the surge, and with the backdrop of what we anticipate may happen in the Supreme Court, that we can and will make a difference. And that's our goal.
That's great. Can you talk to